Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. Once again, welcome to the delayed flight. We keep our promises and we're back to New Delhi, Indira Gandhi International Airport. It is one of the few times that I don't have real weather, because in India I suffered a lot with this weather here. For instance, if we go to live weather, this is the visibility, and such was every day as long as we are here. We will have again a look at this wonderful airport. So today we will say a few things about the camera settings. There are lots of clips that appear on YouTube. It is about the XYZ axis and suggestions to change this axis, to go to the texture, and then instead of the default settings, to change the axis from let's say 0 or minus, I think it is 0 or minus 0.5 something, and to make it minus 5. I'm sure that you have seen probably such clips. You can go inside the cockpit afterwards, and you can open the door, and somehow you find yourself inside the cabin of the plane, and this way you can go to the windows and you can save new camera views from there. So this is the idea in general, and there are many clips published on YouTube about this thing. Here there are some things that I have to say. If this is worth it to do, if it is reliable or not. So the idea is the following. Since you have some limitations and you can go until the edge here, okay, somewhere here is the edge, or here for instance, from pilot's perspective. So you change this XYZ axis, you find yourself, let's say, here. It is something like this. And then you go inside the cabin, finally, because otherwise you don't have access in the cabin, and you save the new camera views. There are only a few clips, and they warn you to save the old file just in case that something goes wrong, so that you can put it back in place and forget the whole thing. However, there are some things that they hide, and this is that, most of all, in smaller planes, in propeller planes, here for instance we have the Cessna Caravan, there is no reason to do this, because actually you have access inside the cabin of the plane. Have a look. To have access inside the plane. So you don't have to do all those things. You don't have to risk. You just find a window that you like this for instance. Okay. Let us say this one. Here. And you can save the view that you like with Control, Alt and the number from 1 until 0, and then you bring it back, the saved camera, with Alt and a number from 1 until 0. So if you are interested in this chapter, to save cameras, I mean, the other two are the scenery and the planes, isn't it? Because those things are mostly irreversible. If something goes wrong, then you have the new settings and you cannot change them. Second is that, as I said, you have the ability to navigate lots of times inside smaller planes, in propeller planes. But still there are some other things that they hide. If you have these modifications done and you go outside of the cockpit, then if you want to return to your initial position from the captain's point of view, it looks exactly like this. So every time that you go to your default cockpit view, you find yourself outside of the plane. This is something that they don't tell you, which means that in order to go back inside the plane, you must have a saved camera. For instance, let us say here it is Alt 1. And each time you must return again inside the plane. And so my question is only this one. Why don't they show, after this modification, how it looks, their plane? Is the plane just as it was previously, or something changed? And the truth is, and this is also hidden, that something has changed very badly. So here it is. I saved these camera views. I followed the instructions with the Cessna Caravan, Alt 3, Alt 4, and here it is. I changed the axis according to the instructions. I saved this view. Now the question is how your plane looks like. Yeah, it is something ugly, isn't it? And unfortunately, okay, I can fly the plane. This is irreversible. This is exactly the result of this advice. And if we have a look from the left, this is how your plane looks like. Instead of following this procedure with the modification of the XYZ axis in the texture file, it would be more wise to be inside the plane. You can examine each one. To turn, as we said, there is no door. Here it is. Another example. You go here, for instance, or this window. Here, a wonderful view. You press Ctrl, Alt, and the number from 1 until 0 to the keyboard, all together. And then you bring back the camera pressing Alt and number from 1 until 0 on the keyboard. Now, if you prefer the jets, as I do, and you fly the Boeings or the Airbus, there are many available free add-ons. Most of them, they are quite reliable. Without risking nothing, you have your brand new camera views. And this we have done already. Yes, indeed, with these modifications, you change the axis and you can find yourself outside the plane and you can save your desired view, your desired camera view. However, your plane probably will look like this. I didn't do something wrong, I just followed the instructions. So, my camera views this is from outside the plane after the modification, and this also. There are even add-ons that I added for my Boeings, and the creator didn't do a good job, and then I had a problem and I have to uninstall them. but at least after uninstalling them, I had again the previous setup of the cameras. But here my setup looks something like this, and this I cannot change now. So have all these things in mind, and if you want to proceed, at least save the old file and you proceed at your own risk. If you go to, for instance, fly.simto, I think, there are many add-ons, and some they have new camera views for each plane. So you can choose the one you fly, and you can just install them. They are safe, mostly they are safe. And in case it doesn't work, you just uninstall the file from your community folder, and you don't cause any damage to your game. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think this is all for now. Just to let you know about the camera settings and the modification of your saved camera views. Thank you for watching this clip, and hope to see you soon to the next one. Bye for now.